a spotlight on Medjuenka, and we have a great program in store for you this evening. We have members of the Interact Club, which is the young Rotarians. They're going to be talking about the Interact Club and giving us a report on the activities that they're doing and encouraging young people to join and talk about the benefits of joining the Rotary Club and what some of their goals are for the year ahead and the roles that they play in the club. So that's going to be an interesting discussion with our young people. Also, we're going to have the city manager, Jan Breathridge. She's going to be here. She's going to be talking about the developments in the city, future plans, the safety of the city, the entertainment, activities going on in the city. And it's going to give you an opportunity to call her and ask her about some of your concerns in the city. So it's going to be really, really interesting. Of course, before we get to that, we got Sean Rose. He's going to be talking to us about the stories making the news this week. Sean, how you doing? How's it going?
Good evening, viewers. Welcome, Medjuenka. This evening, we're going to look at the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. Earlier today, the BVI hosted the opening ceremony for the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court's law year 2013-2014 at the Multipurpose Sports Complex in Rotown. And delivering the main address, Chief Justice, Her Ladyship Honorable Dame Janice Pereira, of course, Virgin Gorda born, Virgin Islands native, and the first female Chief Justice of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, used the occasion to highlight several areas of key jurisprudence in the OECS sub-region. But she made a number of strong statements, of course, as you would expect from the Chief Justice. So we can highlight a few. One of which was her argument that the judicial system in the Eastern Caribbean, to begin with, is an agent for socio-economic development within the sub-region. Her argument is that it is often overlooked, but the court system, the rule of law and order, and having that maintained is critical to ensuring that our countries develop. She said that the fact that the court plays its role in ensuring that law and order are maintained provides an incentive for foreign investors and indeed local investors alike. It basically creates an environment for all of us to live and to do business. And she also spoke about a number of other things, such as a project called Halls of Justice. And while highlighting that point, she made some very interesting remarks. Of course, we know for some time now that the issue of backlog of cases has been, plaguing our judicial system in the sub-region, and a number of people are forced to wait significant, a great deal of time, basically, just to hear their cases heard in court. In some cases, persons are incarcerated and they never have their day in court until maybe 2 or 3 years, while incarcerated. And in some instances too, the time that they spend actually outlasts the amount of time they would have spent had they been charged and sent to prison to serve time. She mentioned, for example, as it relates to the Halls of Justice project, that there is a need for improved structures throughout the sub-region. She said in all of the member states, the buildings used to house the court are archaic, and in many instances, they actually violate health and safety law regulations and standards. And that, she says, actually affects the overall productivity of the court as well. And one can expect that, because if you're working in an environment that is really, inadequate, then it really inhibits your ability to produce at a very efficient level. She also spoke about issues relating to some revision of the criminal justice, the criminal division of the court, because there are 4 divisions: the civil division, the family division, and the commercial division. She said that they're looking at really improving the efficiency and ensuring that the court is a much more vibrant and technologically advanced institution throughout the Caribbean, to more or less rise to the current trends in the global technological industry?
Well, Sean, that's certainly a lot that she's talked about there. But one of the things that stuck in my mind is the length of time that persons have to wait to go through the judicial process, and to have someone incarcerated before trial for a time that that extends what their sentence would normally be certainly must be a violation of their human rights. And did she mention what steps the court is going to take to remedy that situation?
Well, I know of that particular scenario, and she didn't mention that specifically. But of course, the backlog inadvertently creates that sort of a situation, and folks are, of course, citizens are arrested throughout the sub-region and are forced to serve time before they are actually sentenced. What she did speak to, though, was the need for improved technological advancement within the court system. She spoke about, for instance, having simultaneous sittings of the court when these structures, these courthouses are built or rebuilt, and can take into consideration the need for more than one halls, for example. As we know now, the court house here in Rotong doesn't accommodate for much persons in the court itself, nor does it allow for any multiple sittings. We know efforts have been made to have sittings on Virgin Gorda. We are aware of the magistracy at John's Hole and so forth. Other efforts were made in the past. But yeah, at the end of the day, as the Chief Justice mentioned, the lack of adequate resources, both human resources and physical resources, really impedes the work of the court.
It would seem to me that the backlog is and the length of time that persons have to wait to be tried and to get a fair hearing in court contradicts her statement of a stable court and a court that helps to generate economic activity in the region. Certainly, an investor looking at that situation where you have a large backlog and persons incarcerated for long periods of time would think that if they had to have some sort of adjudication, how long will they have to wait to get that their cases settled, especially if it includes large sums of money and have an impact on their business. And that's one aspect of it. That perhaps is the financial aspect of it. But the instability and the anxiety that it breeds in the community and breeds in the families of those persons who are unfairly or unjustly incarcerated. Certainly that seems to be a contradiction. Did she put any proposals forward, make any recommendations to the various territories or
yes,
countries to have these situations remedied in an expeditious manner?
Definitely, and she did say that all of the heads of government throughout the sub-region, all 9 member states, have pretty much bought into the need for improved structures to ensure that the court develops and becomes an efficient system to avoid these, as you rightly put, Edwinka, these cases of violating persons' fundamental human rights. And I think, as she pointed out, this project, the Halls of Justice project, has been on the table for some time. And one can look into what the Chief Justice is saying and deduce from the argument that there has been a lack of political will to ensure that these, as she puts it, archaic structures are modernized, that the court systems throughout the court structures throughout the Caribbean are improved. We know that a number of projects have been embarked on by various governments in the sub-region, but we are yet to see anyone building a new court structure, a new building to house the court. In the case of the Virgin Islands in particular, though, the commercial court is one new structure. Of course, it's a new entity. And I think that as it relates to the point you mentioned earlier, about the contribution made by the court in terms of its financial significance. I think the commercial court is one such, because it does help, for example, in ensuring that the financial services industry here in the Virgin Islands and in other member states is sustained, and there is that legal framework in place that allows for efficiency in terms of litigation and so forth. And I think too that that is a valuable argument that the Chief Justice has made in terms of the value of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court at both the civil and the appellate level. Because at the end of the day, when you look at, for example, tourism and financial services, you recognize that you do need to maintain law and order in your society to have a stable tourism industry and also to have a stable financial services industry. You want to have, as we have witnessed between the G20 and of course G5 nations and these territories, the fight over the financial services industry. So you do need that strong regulatory body in place, and hence the role of the commercial court and of course the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court on a whole. But we seldom hear about the role being played by the court in that regard. And many people would of course prop up the work done in agriculture and manufacturing and so forth, but not very often do you hear the role of the court being celebrated as a source of socio-economic development in the region.
And certainly it is sad, because it would indicate, her drawing this to our attention would indicate that the governments of these various territories have not prioritized the need for improvements in the judicial system,
Yes.
To help to facilitate that economic growth and development and the stability of the various countries.
I think that's an indisputable fact, yes.
Yeah. Anything else happening in the news?
Well, of course, like I said, the Chief Justice, she spoke for close to an hour, so she made a number of points. But I think what we can now draw our attention to is the completion or the near completion of the People's Hospital, the modern wing of the People's Hospital. It would be interesting for you now, Edrinka, to put on your PR hat and tell us what is really happening there. We were expecting a completion in August, and we were told that by October we should see a handing over of the keys some time ago.
Well, you're tugging at my heartstrings now there, Sean. But I remember during the minister's walkthrough in April, he did mention that the scheduled date for handover was September, but he was thinking that perhaps we needed to give the contractors the extra month of October to hand over for various reasons. It seems that I had an opportunity to take a look on Tuesday, last Tuesday, and it seems on schedule to be handed over next month in October. So I'm looking forward to that. It's a fantastic structure, and I'm sort of melancholy about the fact that Virgin Islanders didn't get an opportunity generally to see the magnitude of this project. I think it has to be by far the most complicated of projects that we've undertaken. As far surpasses our airport terminal project. I can't think of any government project that we've undertaken that is this complicated and this magnitude. And so you get to understand how difficult and how challenging it was to get it completed, albeit I should say, notwithstanding the challenges with the earlier contractors. But certainly these contractors, Todman Construction and his associates, have done a fantastic job in finishing the hospital, and from my perspective, it's something that the territory generally is going to be very, very proud of. It's I would say second to few in the region, if any at all, and perhaps it's right on par with hospitals around the world.
Edrinka, you've been inside the building, I'm sure. You were there in April. What differences can you tell us now?
Well, the floors are done, the wall coverings are completed, some of the equipment that has to go onto the wall is attached. There's running water, and of course the air conditioner has been there for a while. Elevators are in and working. It's the cabinets are in. You have some real modern-looking operating theaters, nice Korean finish reception areas. It's really pretty, if to call it to use that term, and I mean it's a glamorous looking structure, and I think that it's something that we can be proud of. It costs a lot of money. We made some mistakes along the way, but I think finally it's going to be finished, and then the commissioning phase will be ongoing. I think certain aspects of the commissioning phase is already going on. You have some of the equipment has been purchased already. Some is still to be purchased. Some of the furniture needs to be purchased, and we need to actually get Vivi Islanders involved in contributing to the furnishing of the hospital. Persons who want to give donate a bed, donate $50 million. I think let me just be serious a little bit.
Yes.
We need about $10 million to furnish.
To
furnish the hospital, and so I think some community members who have some extra cash can make some donations. You can have your name up in the hospital, and I think something is going to be developed. A foundation is going to be developed where we can make contributions to the furnishing the hospital. I know there's some people, members of the community that has had some tremendous experiences in the hospital as far as care is concerned. And I know that the People's Hospital take a lot of licks for some of the services and some of the interaction, customer interaction with the staff and so on. You hear a lot about the bad things, yes, but there are a lot of good things happening in the hospital as well. And you have a lot of persons who have had really good experiences and who want to contribute. I know my father, for example, he is itching to make his contribution. And I know many other persons in the community who want to make a contribution to the hospital. And I think we need to set up, and I think we will be set up, a system, a facility where community members can feel proud in donating to such a magnificent structure and a magnificent achievement that the people of this territory is about to be completed.
And I think that, as we just discussed, the need for advanced and modern buildings really helps us in improving our efficiency at all levels, and I'm sure that we can expect to see a more efficient health service, because with this adequate, the adequate facilities available now at this modern building, it would be much easier to actually, serve the community in an efficient way.
Well, before we go to the break, Sean, I just want to say that this facility and the modern equipment, when we get the proper human resources in place, is going to be an immediate improvement in the quality of healthcare in the territory. With the ongoing training of staff in customer relations, with the performance enhancement unit that is in place, they can deal with complaints. Like I said, with the training of the staff in customer relations, the auditing for efficiency in the emergency room, all these things that's happening with HEMA coming on board to bring specialist care to the territory, where it lessens our need to go abroad, spend that airline money, that airfare, on the hotel bills and so on. It's going to be a marked improvement in health services, quality of health services in the territory. We gotta go, we gotta take a break for word from sponsors. When we come back, we're gonna come back with the president of the Interact Club, Ms. Katie Ann Johnson, and the public relations officer, Ms. Nia Douglas, right after these words from our sponsors. Keep it locked right here to Spotlight.
Spotlight is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Clarence Thomas Limited, the BVI Tourist Board, and CCT Global Communications.
Calling all CCT Internet customers. Did you know if you have CCT Internet service including internet on your phone, you can connect to CCT's 4G Wi-Fi service free of charge? That means you can enjoy unlimited high-speed CCT Wi-Fi on any Wi-Fi device. Browse the web, check your mail, stay connected to any of CCT BVI's hotspots for free. Call CCT today and request your exclusive CCT Wi-Fi username and password and join the CCT Wi-Fi network. CCT, the home of unlimited.
Choosing a college education is one of the most important decisions that you will ever make. A college degree or certification opens doors to greater opportunities that will improve the quality of life for you and your family. The greater the investment made in education, the greater the returns. I am Charlita Millington, Regulator of Investments and Securities Business, and a proud graduate of the H. Laverty Stout Community College. A leader in higher education which aids in the improvement of life, a vibrant economy, and nation building. Any educational institution is best judged by its graduates. And the H. Laverty Stout Community College is committed to the development of the human resources of these Virgin Islands and the region. Now, because of HLSCC, I am making a difference.
Remember, at HLSCC, your tomorrow begins today.
For any job, be it residential or commercial, Clarence Thomas Limited is the British Virgin Islands' best choice for a wide variety of supplies to help tackle any task. Refresh the interior and exterior of your home with our selection of paint and painting supplies. For home improvements, CTL is your one-stop source for sinks, tubs, toilets, faucets, and decorative products. Convert your yard into a landscape paradise with tools and supplies from our lawn and garden center. Or visit our lumber yard where you can build that house from the ground up. Visit our convenience stores location at Pasir, Port Purcell and Tortola, and the Valley Virgin Gorda. We provide something for everyone. Clarence Thomas Limited, the best products at the lowest prices, period. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Spotlight is brought to you by Tortola Concrete Limited, Clarence Thomas Limited, and H. Laverty Stout Community College.
Serving the community for over 25 years, Tortola Concrete Limited is the leading producer of concrete products in the BVI with grades of 3.
I'm Edjuenka, and I'm here with the president of the Interact Club of Roetown, Ms. Katie Ann Johnson, and the public relations officer, Ms. Nia Douglas. Welcome to Spotlight.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't be shy. Speak up. And interact. First, Ms. Johnson, as president, tell us a little bit about what Interact is, what the Interact Club is.
Well, the Interact Club of Roetown is a community-based club under the branch of Rotary Club of Roetown for kids ages 12 to 18. And what we do, we help persons with personal development, such as public speaking, and we also help the community, such as the elderly or anyone in the community.
Okay, So it's a community service for young people
Yes, it is.
organization.
Yes, it is.
What do you all learn in Rotary in the Interact Club? Anyone?
Oh, we learn a variety of things. We have people come to speak to us. We engage in different things. Like we're going to Green VI soon to learn about recycling. We do things as a group, and we try to meet a variety of interests and things. So we're very involved in our community, and we know what's happening, what stuff is being done in the community.
Why did you all join the club?
Well, my mom introduced me to the club, and after a few minutes, I got interested, and from there, I've been in the club.
Yeah, why did you join here?
Well, I was first interested because of community and service. You know, I'm required to do community and service in school. But I guess I really stayed because I enjoyed the people. I enjoyed the socials. I was asked to be the PRO, and I just like the nature of the people, how nice everybody is, how we give back to our community. I think giving back to the community is very important. I think community in general is an important thing.
How many members you have?
Well, right about now we have about 30 active members.
And can anyone join? What's the requirements for joining the club?
Well, there's no requirement. As long as you're within the age group, 12 to 18, you can be eligible to join.
Okay. And do you have any specific training that you have to go through as a member of the club? How your individual development, does that have does the club provide a place for that for the young people that join?
Well, you don't need a specific training, but what we do, we help those in learning the importance of giving back to the community, and we also help you, little aspects of life, of being ready for college or public speaking, just the basics to get you through life.
Okay. Do you have the benefits of being a club member? Are there like specific benefits that you feel that is there, that you gain, the things that you've gained personally from being a member? Why would anyone want to join?
Well,
Besides hanging out with nice people.
Well, for me personally, I got introduced to new opportunities such as traveling, and also when you're looking to apply for jobs or colleges, it looks good on your resume.
Okay. What about you? Neil?
Well, it helps you to develop your leadership skills, which I think is important. It's one of the main things of the Interact Club is leadership skills. I think it's an important thing to have, and even if you're not good at public speaking per se, when you come to the club and they help you develop it and get into the habit of speaking out in public, it's actually a good thing to have, I think. And I think even if that's not really your calling, I still think trying it out once, it looks good, like President Kadian said. And I think it's a wonderful experience.
And what activities you all engage in as a group? I mean, are there fun things that you all do to keep the group together, to have a bonding?
Yes, we do have a few socials that we do, where whatever the club members choose that they would like to do, we do it, like such as this Saturday we're having a cleanup along with the Rotary Club, and afterwards we're going to have a beach social at Trellis Bay, actually at Long Bay Beef Island.
Okay. So you're going to clean up, which area are you going to clean up first?
We're going to clean up the Trellis Bay.
The Trellis Bay area. Mm-hmm. And then after you finish work, you're going to swim.
Yes.
And have chips and soda. But I mean, so you all have like parties or entertainment, what kind of social events do you have?
Well, in July, we had a graduates party, because normally we have a quite amount of interactors who graduate whether from high school or college. And what we did, we went on a sailing trip to Cooper Island, and we swam and we had fun and everyone enjoyed themselves.
Is there a code of conduct that interactors have to adhere to?
Well, yes, as young adults and being that we're exposed to the community, you have to show a certain image to also like set an example for the younger kids who like to come in to interact.
Okay. Anything you want to add?
No, I mean, yeah, we have socials, and we do lots of things. Like she said, we go out in the ocean, we go on boats, we go to UPs, we go to somebody's house. We just do a variety of things.
Now, you have do you have like goals as a president, the PRO, and other offices in the? Well, first of all, let me ask, what offices are there in the club?
Well, we have the president, vice president, public relations officer. We have a community service officer. We have a newly membership director, which we just brought out 2 years ago. Then we have the treasurer and the secretary.
A new member officer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Membership director to help recruit more members.
Okay. So, and do you have any adults in the club? Are you all just by yourself? Who provides you with with all this information, leadership skills? Where's the guidance coming from?
Well, our sponsoring club is the Rotary Club of Rotown, and we have an advisor from the club, which is Miss Sonia Webster. So she helps direct us and, help us along the way.
Okay. And that's the only person that you have to help with your development in the club?
No, we also have supports from the other Rotarians and a few Rotaractors.
Mm-hmm. So the Rotaractors are the older?
Ages 18 to 30.
Okay. And do you graduate to the Rotaractor and then to the adult Rotarians? Is there like a process?
Well,
like this, a feeder group like?
Once you reach 18, you have the choice to join Rotaract. And you just go from there, attend the meetings, and then eventually you can be inducted and become a Rotaractor.
Okay. So y'all gonna join?
I will.
You're gonna.
It depends where I am at the time.
Oh, okay. But depends where you are at the time. You got other plans, huh?
Well.
So you're in high school. You're in high school.
Just in college, right?
I'm in HLSCC.
And you're in HLSCC.
Yes.
Okay. And what are you studying?
General Science.
General Science. And what's your long-term goal?
Well, I want to be a dentist. So after my 2 years for HLSCC, I will apply for university in the United States to further in dentistry.
Okay. So do you have any long-term goals? You are still in high school, so I don't know. Yeah.
I want to get the best possible grades.
That's your long-term goal.
Yes.
So you want a perfect score on all your tests. Mm-hmm. That's ambitious. That's quite ambitious. Now, as a president of Rotary, do you have like a plan of action? Well, how long is the tenure of the officers?
Well, each officer has their position for the whole interact year. And what we do, we have elections.
Okay, so you have a year.
Mm-hmm, yes.
As president, yes, PRO, and so on. So do you have like a plan of action and activities and things that you have to accomplish within that year?
Well, before I am inducted president, I am vice president, because when you're vice president, you automatically get president. So what I have to do is sit down with my board members and plan out a year plans, like activities month by month, because each month has a specific title. For instance, August is membership and extension month. So what I would do, I would try to have activities where I can recruit more members.
Okay, so that was last month.
Yes.
And what's September's plan?
Well, September is Youth Celebration Month. So what we did was held the Rotary Club of Rotown meeting, and we had the local TV commercial where we're here on Spotlight, and last Saturday we were on Rotary Radio, And 2 more activities we have so far is to do a presentation to the high school, to open the club to more members, to more youths.
Okay. And for the rest, and when does the year end?
The year ends in June.
Next June. So what's going to happen at the end of June? What we hope to complete? What you hope to complete?
Well, I just hope that I get to complete everything on my year plans, and so far it's going so smooth.
What are some of the other things on your year plan?
Well, for October we want to visit the Green VI studio, so we can learn about recycling and glass making here in the BVI. And then further down in the month, in November, we also have Interact Week, where we will have like a social and have the opportunity to wear our Interact shirts to our respective schools and host a Rotary Club of Rotown meeting again. And then the rest of the year, we just have activities lined up.
Okay. And as a public relations officer, what's your role?
Well, my role is to get the news about the club out into the public. When we're having events, it's my job to figure out how I'm going to advertise and market it. So basically, I'm the person that's behind everything that's shown to the public. Me and my committee.
Oh, okay. Well, of course, this is Spotlight, and I'm here with President of the Interact Club, Ms. Katie Ann Johnson, and the Public Relations Officer, Ms. Nia Douglas. If anybody wants to call for a few minutes before we go to our next segment to ask the young people any questions about the Interact Club, about joining, about the membership, about what they learn, and and so on, feel free to do so. The number's on the screen, and you can text or you can call. We'd be happy to hear from you. We have a few more minutes remaining in the segment. Let me see. I think I'm running out of questions. What are some of the other things that we need to, the public and the young people watching need to know about the Rotary Club?
Well, what they should know is only good comes out of the club. So we help the community, which is very important, to keep the BVI together, keep it going, and it exposes them to leadership and being a better character.
So it builds character. It builds
Yes.
character and discipline.
Yes, it does.
And well, how does it build discipline? You have to go to meetings once a week.
Well, yes, once a week, every Saturday.
Okay. And what happens if you don't attend the meeting?
Well, there's no penalty if you don't attend, but if we see like you're not attending meetings often, we will try to get you back to our meetings. And what we do, we ask you like if you're losing interest, and we can see how we can help you gain back interest.
Okay, so you try to retain the membership.
Yes.
So you don't punish anybody for not
No.
for not sure. Does anyone get suspended out of the club? Like if you're absent more than a certain amount of times,
No.
you can't come
We
back.
don't do that.
So even if you stop coming and you want to come back again, you can restart.
Yes, you can join.
You can join. You want to? I see you perk up.
I was just smiling.
Okay, so you're hoping to increase your membership. You have a membership drive going on, a membership goal.
Well, yes, that's why we're planning the presentations to the different high schools here. Mm-hmm. And what we will do, while we make the presentations, we have a form for each person to fill out like their name and contact number, so we can let them know when we're having meetings.
Do you have to have any particular grade to be a member of the club?
No.
Maintain a C average. If you're a person who's not doing so well in school, will you be accepted in the club?
You can still be accepted whether your grades are up or not.
So you don't check to see that people are.
No.
You don't look for any specific caliber of young people.
No, there's no specific requirements. Just as long as you're within the age group.
Okay. Cool. Anything you want to add? I forgot to ask you. You want to get out to the public before we go?
Well, I would just like to say that our meetings are open to anyone who would like to join. We have our meetings every Saturday at 3 p.m. at the Department of Youth Affairs and Sports.
And if someone wants to call to ask you more questions about the Interact Club, is there a number for them to call?
Well, they can call me personally at 443-5525. And we also have 2 Facebook pages, one that is closed for the members and one that is open where you can like it and see what's going on in the club. The page is named Interact Club of Rotown.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being my guest on Spotlight. It seems like it's quite an interesting club, and y'all seem to like it, enjoy it, and doing very well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We're going to take a break for a word from our sponsors. When we come back, we're going to come back with City Manager Janice Brathwaite, and we're going to have a lot of fun talking about what's going on in the city. We know a lot of activities is happening, a lot of development is coming. We have some challenges with safety. There's been a little bit of crime here and there, and we want to find out what's coming on stream to help mitigate some of these challenges and help develop a vibrant culture in our city of Rotown. Keep it locked ahead of Spotlight. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
Spotlight is brought to you by Tortola Concrete Limited, Clarence Thomas Limited, and Jtvlivenet Stout Community College.
Serving the community for over 25 years, Tortola Concrete Limited is the leading producer of concrete products in the BVI. With grades of 3,000 to 5,000 PSI, Tortola Concrete ready mix quality unmatched in the industry, and we can mix to your specifications. Our aggregates are clean through our unique washing process for our smooth, clean mix. And our special chilling process makes our concrete crack resistant. Tortola Concrete Limited is the concrete company for all your quality concrete products. Gravel, road base, face stone, boulders, armor rock, coarse sand, terrace, and the cleanest, strongest, crack resistant, ready mix concrete. Tortola Concrete batch plant serve you Monday to Saturday, 7 a.m. until the last load. Our knowledgeable, effective staff gives you free estimate and delivers on time to any location. Contact Tortola Concrete at 494-3259, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Conveniently located in Parkwood Pond near the BVI electricity plant. At Tortola Concrete Limited, the strength is in the mix.
Life is like a mountain you must climb. Life is like a treasure you must find. A baby learning how to talk. With just one step begins to walk. One step at a time will lead you to paradise. Your dreams are there to find. One step to paradise.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm here with City Manager, excuse me, Jan Brathwaite. Jan, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
And I can't express my gratitude enough for gratitude enough for you coming on some short notice. I gotta. Let me take a quick break and get some some water.
Spotlight is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Clarence Thomas Limited, the BVI Tourist Board, and CCT Global Communications.
At CCT, unlimited means unlimited. We've got the best selection for unlimited voice and internet plans available. Choose unlimited voice for only $39 per month. We'll give you a choice of unlimited usage with or without contract. Just choose one of our no contract plans. Need unlimited internet? You've got it. We'll give you unlimited internet on your phones or unlimited broadband at home without no overage charges. No high bills, no need to pay for fixed line you never use. Choose CCT and join the home of unlimited today. CCT, where unlimited means unlimited.
For any job, be it residential or commercial, Clarence Thomas Limited is the British Virgin Islands' best choice for a wide variety of supplies to help tackle any task. Refresh the interior and exterior of your home with our selection of paint and painting supplies. For home improvements, CTL is your one-stop source for sinks, tubs, toilets, faucets, and decorative products. Convert your yard into a landscape paradise with tools and supplies from our lawn and garden center. Or visit our lumber yard where you can build that house from the ground up. Visit our convenience stores location at Pasir, Port Purcell and Tortola, and the Valley Virgin Gorda. We provide something for everyone. Clarence Thomas Limited, the best products at the lowest prices, period. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Boy, what good? Yeah, man, everything good?
Yeah, man, look, come get a bus wash after them.
Boy, I can't wash down today, and I'm hustling, you know. It's 2 weeks now. I sick, but then I'm paying my social security. If I want paying that, is that what help me with the bills? So I hope you paying yours.
Man, I got a leader for big time taxi man like that. I got all the cruise ship and tourists in them. I only try squeezing a little something, you understand?
Boy, I used to say the same thing, you know. But I guess I get social security, but really help me out. So if you ain't paying yours, better pay.
You know the sad thing about today? Things that happen, you know, so I gotta really take it into consideration and get at this out, you know?
Yeah, man.
Real stuff.
Yeah.
Real stuff.
Yeah, boy. Well, I like to stay and chat with you, you know, but I gotta roll out. Remember I say, and I hustle.
Yeah, man, that's what's understood. You got to be explaining and make that money.
Yeah,
you know
man,
what I'm saying? I gotta do the same, hold it down.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm here with Jan Brathwaite, City Manager. Jan, I can't thank you enough for coming on such short notice. One of my guests had an emergency, a hospital emergency, and it's good to have good friends who take you out of a jam.
Yeah.
You know, so I have to let you know I appreciate that. How's everything going?
Everything's going good.
You had a good festival.
I had a good August month, yes. A good freedom
month.
A whole month.
Whole freedom
yes,
month.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of activities within the city limits, so I think we're doing well, and we'll have more coming.
Yes. Well, first of all, it's good that you said city limits. Tell us the boundaries of the city.
Well, the city of Roetown encompasses from the bottom of Jean Hill in the east to Slaney in the west. And then we go up through Lower Estate and just the tip of the environments of Humptomscott in that area. And we do take a little hike up Paul Watley Drive and Mance Road. So those within those confines, those are within the city limits. We take over Purcell Estate also.
So Purcell, Pazia?
Yes, anything within the watershed surrounding Roetown, yes.
Okay, so up to the roundabout, Bargers Bay?
Yeah.
And
all of that is within the confines of the city.
And how far east, how far up we going?
Up, as it relates to east, we go as far as Jean Hill, the bottom of Jean Hill.
The bottom of Jean Hill.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a big city.
Yes, very big city.
I had not realized the city.
Yes.
You think of the city as Roetown proper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But under this new remit, we have extended the limits of the city to involve actually 3 districts: District 4, District 5, and part of District 6. So
that's something new?
Under my remit, that's the instructions that I got as the city city manager.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the city has been expanding?
Yes.
It wasn't always the case?
It wasn't always that big.
Oh, okay. That's
It
interesting.
kind of went from roundabout to roundabout, but we've expanded it a little bit.
Any particular reason given for that?
I don't know that there's a major reason, but I can understand why. Because as you enter the city, both east and west, you know, once you get into the limits within the watershed that surrounds Road Town, that is what encompasses the watershed. So I think that's probably one of the main reasons.
Okay. So you're saying you had a good month of August.
Yes, a good emancipation month.
A good emancipation
Yeah,
month.
very
What
good.
were some of the things that happened?
Actually, we did a lot of things within the confines of the city, and one of the things I'd like to say right now is that I express sincere appreciation to the business community within the confines of the city. A lot of the business people, you know, stepped outside of the box this year, and they did a lot of different things. We actually had we rendered the market scene, as you know, once again.
Yes.
And that was awesome. It really came off really, really well. And we did it in conjunction with the August Festival Food Fair. And on one of those days, we also had BVI Motorsports doing their car show within the confines of the city. And Umi came outside and they had their fashion show. And Patsy Late at One Stop Mall, they came out and they had a hat mannequin fashion show. So slowly but surely, people are getting into the groove as to, you know, how to bring the city to life. And I really, really appreciate the businesses. I think yesterday I actually had another business owner saying to me, look, I want to come outside and we want to do a Friday afternoon cafe on a sidewalk and, you know, that kind of thing. So we are, I mean, people are coming out, you know, people are saying, look, you know, we want to try something different. We hardly ever say no. We just make sure that we confine what it is to within the, you know, the limits and not to impede, you know, foot traffic, etc.
Because there's been a lot of talk for years now about businesses, you know, stores opening late, having little sidewalk cafes, having music. And we do have a few businesses that open up, Bambouche, Le Grand Cafe, and others having music and entertainment on Waterfront Drive. So how is that something that we are going to
That is something that we're going to pursue. I actually have volunteers actually sitting in at Crafts Alive on the weekend and actually doing, you know, musical renditions, some solos, some groups coming in there on their own, just asking for permission to actually do something within the confines of Crafts Alive. So that's also helping those vendors, which we in turn hopefully will start opening a little later. We also have supermarkets asking to do their tasting of new items that they're bringing out onto the market, and if they could do the tastings in places within the confines of the city. And one of the things that I try to express is that it doesn't have to be one particular location. We have the bandstand, we have the recreation grounds, we have the festival grounds, we have Noah Lloyd Park, we have Sir Albert George's Plaza, we have Queen Elizabeth Park. And so what we're trying to do is see how we could mobilize the city in its widest sense, so that people, you know, are out and doing activities. I wanted to come to a situation where on a Friday evening, you gotta make a conscious decision as to which area you're gonna be in, because the city will be so alive.
You have a vibrant cultural city.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. You know, making it happen in a city. We don't have to be outlandish, but we just need to make things happen. Things of a different nature.
I thought, you know, of course, Craft Alive expanded under your watch.
Right.
And it's beautiful. The colors, the little houses, you know, our traditional houses. It looks really nice. I thought that they were going to have some sort of entertainment facility in the Craft Alive itself. I had heard talk about a little theater or open air space or something.
The theater is in the plan, and the theater is for phase 2, because there's a second phase to it. There's also the pond that will come on, the fishing pond, where you'll have the experience of catching your fish in the pond, of fishermen teaching you how to fish. So that all is going to come in phase 2. We actually finished phase 1, and phase 1 looks good. We're quite contented, but we're not we don't intend to stop there. We're trying to really create something that, you know, becomes a family atmosphere at the Crafts Alive Village. So you'll be able to see a lot more of our local culture and our heritage within the confines of Crafts Alive.
Now, Main Street still remains a challenge.
Yes.
When the post office was there, you had regular traffic, people coming and going. Then we moved the post office at the edge of the city limits.
Right.
I'm just finding out now where the city boundaries are, right? So it's still in the city.
Right.
Yeah, but it's a little out of on outer limits of the city. And so Main Street proper seems to be having challenges, I think, as a result of the post office moving. Well, perhaps not just only as a result of the post office movement, but certainly the decrease in traffic had an impact on the business community, the businesses on Main Street.
And it's something that I'm paying a lot of attention to. I actually have spoken to a number of business people in that area. Some businesses have closed. And one of the things is that there are a number of proposals for that actual building. Yes, we do have a situation as it relates to mold within the building, but I know that we have had people who have given us proposals on things we can do, how to help us eliminate it or even cut it back. So those are things that we're actually looking for. And hopefully in 2014, there'll be some activity happening in that area. Because as long as that area has foot traffic, then the businesses on that area become vibrant. But another concern that I have is that a lot of people who do business on Main Street are concerned that, you know, cars are parked on Main Street basically all day. So that also prevents people who would probably want to run in, pick up something and come back out, giving them that opportunity. So that is also something that we have to look at, you know, how we're going to make sure that the traffic continues to move on Main Street so people can get in and out of those businesses on Main Street to assist them with what it is they're trying to do. So it's not a back burner item. It's up front on the agenda as to how we're going to create a little bit more vibrancy on Main Street, because I think it is very crucial. During the original staging of the market scene, we had closed off the road for a couple of hours, and we really got that lash from that particular, you know, public saying, you know, we really would like to see that road open. You know, we need that traffic to continue to happen. So that is something that is important for us as we look at the market scene. The market scene affects it in a different way than Christmas on Main Street, based on the fact that Christmas on Main Street has activity on the street, so people are actually going to come up and down the street. But when we do the market scene, because that's stuck down at Sir Albert George's Plaza, that poses another little challenge. So those are some of the things that we have to look at as we look at housing the market scene, which is a market scene that we will try to house at least 4 times a year.
Okay, cool. So the post office is not coming back?
I don't know that it's not coming back. I know that plans are proposed for how to refit the building so that at least it's a building that people can work in. Because we did have the proposed museum that we did have in there, but we had to end up closing it because the mold was just a little bit too much.
Okay. Now, there's been a couple of plans for the development of Main Street, you know, with brick streets and cobblestone streets and fancy lighting, you know, and some kind of regulations for what kind of buildings can go there, maintaining the quaintness of Main Street. And there has even been talk about making the street a pedestrian area. That I don't know how that will work when we take into account that we only have 2 streets.
Right.
You know, two main streets.
Yes.
And when activity is on one, the other one, you know, has some challenges. So, but those are some ideas that have been tossed around and so on. I think a couple of different ideas have been tossed around. But and it's a long time, maybe 20, 30 years. But we still can't seem to get anything going on Main Street.
Actually, for my 2014 plans, Main Street is an area, like I say, it's on the front burner. And I don't think that anything will happen on Main Street until we come to the Main Street residents and the business community on Main Street. We have to ensure that whatever we do in tandem with them, and that it's workable for all the parties involved. So it's forefront. You know, it has to happen. Things need to happen on Main Street. The historical nature of Main Street is something that is crucial to our well-being and our moving forward from a heritage perspective. And I think that's one of the areas that we really, really want to highlight. During the International Museum Day, we did create a tour. And out of that tour, I've been able to create 4 other tours out of that tour. So we have a shopping tour that we can do on Main Street. There's a historical tour on Main Street. There's actually a pub tour where you can go and stop at the cafes and the pubs on Main Street and really get a feel of, you know, the cultural heritage of the country, and, you know, who meets and meet and greet in these pubs. So yes, we're coming, you know, slowly but surely with a lot of things. A lot of things are happening behind the scene as it relates to what happens within the city, because for me it's a balancing act, because the city has a Main Street and it has a Front Street, and there's a lot of activity that needs to happen. And as we look to bring in more, especially cruise ship visitors, we have to diversify how we handle what happens within the confines of the city. We can't let everything bottleneck in the lower part of the city. We need to expand to the upper part of the city. So those are things that we are taking into consideration.
Okay. I'm here with Jan Bradford, the city manager. The phone lines are open, text line is open. Call us, send a text, ask a question, make a comment. We'll be happy to hear from you. Yes, there's going to be a cruise ship pier expansion. There's going to be landside development, additional tourists, and I don't know how many additional tourists we'll get, because 2007 we had close to 1 million tourists.
I know.
Come to the territory for that year. 948,000 tourists to be exact came through that year, and it was a vibrant year. Businesses did well, the city was jumping, and it didn't seem so bad.
No, it wasn't.
It didn't seem so bad, because that's one of our concerns.
Right. It wasn't so bad, because one of the things is, though, that even though we have almost 1 million visitors in the Virgin Islands, you don't feel it like that. As the development of the cruise pier happens, though, there may be a little bit more impact. That's one of the reasons why it's so crucial for us to make sure that we diversify a little bit of what happens on the land side, so that we could actually spread out these visitors a little bit more. And from the city perspective, I want them to enjoy as much of this city as is humanly possible. So yes, we have to plan how we're going to do that, how we're going to create entertainment spots in other places than the normal spots, and how we can get businesses to do what, you know, they've started to do. Come outside, do some things that are a little different, you know, so that we could create, you know, a city that's very vibrant and that is something different from the rest of the region.
Okay. Well, now you have increased activity with the coming of the landside development and the pier expansion. Traffic has always been a challenge when cruise ships come into the territory, particularly. And there was talk with the development of a trolley system. I think that's gone out the window. How any plans to mitigate that challenge?
Actually, yesterday I sat in a meeting, and you know, I had a couple of business people within the city limit talking about, you know, how they can see us ensuring that the traffic happens and drawing designs and so forth. So what I said to them is that, you know, proposals sound good. So let's get it on paper and let's actually see how it works. And then maybe what we could do is some simulation exercises to see what really works as it relates to the traffic flow. But traffic flow is going to be something that we have to address. and in the not too distant future, we have to address the traffic within the confines of the city. And as you spoke about pedestrianizing Main Street, that's another situation that we really have to seriously look at, because if we pedestrianize Main Street totally and not probably do it in segments, then we really
different times
right,
during the day.
You know, we really would have a problem. But all of that is, you know, on the drawing board. It's a lot to look at within the confines of the city, because right now a lot of attention is being paid to the lower part of the city, and we still have the upper part of the city that still needs attention, especially when you look at, you know, what happens at the roundabout at Port Purcell, and, you know, that whole situation coming down from Fort Hill and that kind of stuff. So I'm not just going to concentrate on the lower part of the city. I have to concentrate on the entire city, so that, you know, it becomes a vibrant city for all, whether you're on foot or whether you're in a vehicle.
Well, parking is another challenge in the city, along with the traffic. I have found that I'm able to park, for example, up around the CCT area, the taxi stand area, or even Bobby's area, Polo's area, you know, and walk to where I have to go, whether it's Scotia Bank, Banco Popular, the admin complex, on Main Street, and I enjoy walking, so this is good for me. Do we need a parking lot open right there next to Village Key, where you pay $1 an hour? And I thought that's a brilliant idea, because if I got to go to Scotia Bank, I could come and park in that parking lot, pay $1, go in the bank, get what I got to get done, go into other areas, get what I got to get done, come out. If I spend 2 hours in the area, I pay $2.
And it's an idea that I know from the Ministry of Communication and works with the minister, is something that he's very concerned about, the whole issue of parking. But more importantly than the parking is the situation that, you know, I also am a member of a committee that deals with healthy places and spaces. And one of the areas that we are concentrating on right now is the city. So one of the things we want to encourage people to do is ensure that the city is pedestrian friendly. So we've actually done from Slaney all the way up to Patsy Lake's new building, and just actually looked at the sidewalks, looked at, you know, how people actually traverse. We actually walked it ourselves. We actually stood up and actually watched the pedestrian movement. So those are things that we are concentrating on. And yes, parking is a challenge. And as I became the city manager, it wasn't even a month I was sitting in the chair. I actually have 3 proposals on my desk that are proposals for people with parking garages. Something that I think that the ministry is eventually going to consider, you know, making parking garages. And I can actually say one of the areas that they're looking at right now is actually a parking lot right now, but extending it up to 6 stories high, so that we could park and walk within the confines of the city.
So you have a parking garage as a building that you could go in, and go up and
right. Oh. But one of the concerns that I have is that as we build a parking garage in the city, that it shouldn't look like a parking garage, not in the city. So it has to be aesthetically pleasing in order to meet the needs. So one of the designs I have seen is one where the front of the building is commercial space, and you drive inside the building and then go around. So the front is a small suite, so people who have businesses with 3-4 people could also rent the space, and that is your office space, and then the parking garage is a little bit further in the back.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and aesthetically pleasing. One of the things I saw in the design is not just trees, but allowing the vines to go up on the trees, on the building, you know, so it really becomes a facade, and the sidewalk is big enough for that. If you had a small cafe on the bottom, people could step out onto the sidewalk and, you know, have their coffee and so forth. Very interesting.
Yeah,
yes.
That sounds like a good idea. Now you have you mentioned, I think, well, we have the Noah Lloyd Park, and we've just gotten a bathroom thanks to the Lions Club and others, and we've seen the importance of having that park. We have coming on stream the Queen Elizabeth Park. How involved in is that going to be, and how much of that park could be used to facilitate that green space that we're talking about and provide exercise activity for people to maintain wellness? Don't answer that yet. We're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about the green spaces and the infrastructural development for exercise, because wellness and the national health insurance and healthcare and all that stuff is got to be taken into consideration. Keep it locked right here to Spotlight. Don't forget the phone lines are open, the text line is open, and to call and text us when we come back after these words from the sponsors.
Spotlight is brought to you by Tortola Concrete Limited, Clarence Thomas Limited, and Jtvlivenet Stout Community College.
What are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your life? Hanging out on the corner where there is no future. What are you doing with your life? Tell me, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your life? That's what you should do with your life.
Choosing a college education is one of the most important decisions that you will ever make. A college degree or certification opens doors to greater opportunities that will improve the quality of life for you and your family. The greater the investment made in education, the greater the returns. I am Charlita Millington, Regulator of Investments and Securities Business, and a proud graduate of the Jtvlivenet Stout Community College. A leader in higher education which aids in the improvement of life, a vibrant economy, and nation building. Any educational institution is best judged by its graduates. And the Jtvlivenet Stout Community College is committed to the development of the human resources of these Virgin Islands and the region. Now, because of HLSCC, I am making a difference.
Remember, at HLSCC, your tomorrow begins today.
Talking about nah. Drop it! I think even Chomp, Ace, and Paris are looking forward to having some too. Don't worry, guys.
The BVI Electricity Corporation is encouraging its users to consider solar energy. Many homeowners in the BVI have been using solar power water heating for years and have been satisfied, especially seeing the savings on their bill every month. It's time you take a serious look at using solar power water heaters. Save the environment and save money on your bills with one initial setup cost, then your hot water is free. It's time for you to use solar water heating.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm having a good time here with Jan Bradford, the city manager. We are talking about developments in the city, and if you've just joined us, you've missed a lot, but there's a lot more to come. And we'd like you to make your comments. We got about 15 minutes more. We'd like you to share in the discussion, ask questions, make comments, call us on the phone line, send us a text. We'd be happy to hear from you. And we were left off talking about green spaces. Queen Elizabeth Park is a big park and had big plans for it. What's up with that? What's taking so long?
Actually, I don't know if it's taken long. There has been a little bit of movement as it relates to QE2. But 3 weeks ago, we actually had some equipment in there looking at it. I think one of the things we're going to look at first is the drains and that kind of thing. But QE2 is going to be one of the hot, healthy spaces within the confines of the city. They've done a lot to ensure that it's a green space. It got more green than one of our original plans, and they have walking spaces and a walking track and running track in that area. And as we do that, we're also looking at how we're going to extend the road and look at walking and biking lanes within the confines of the city. We've taken into account that a number of
Bikers come, especially on the ships, and they want to ride around the town and around the island. So bike lanes and walking trails are something that we are actually looking at, and those will extend outside the confines of the city where it is possible. I know we're actually, a lot of them go west, so we're actually looking at what we can do to improve that situation going to the west. But green spaces within the confines of the city is top on my priority. I would like to see green spaces. I would like to see us come outside and do a lot more things, especially around lunchtime. Come outside, inhale some fresh air and what have you. But also as we come outside, I want us to be a little bit more conscious about our healthy environment and putting our stuff in receptacles. I just, I take a walk out onto Wickham's Quay at least 3 times a week, and sometimes I'm appalled at the number of pieces of trash that could be placed in the bins that are provided for people. If we're going to look at a healthy location and a healthy place, then we need to put our garbage in the receptacles. There are receptacles there, please. I beg, because that helps our city. I mean, when you don't do it, then we have to end up paying a whole slew of people to clean up this garbage, which is taxpayers' dollars that we could be using to do infrastructural projects.
Well, I have a pet peeve about that. I come from a city where there are 4 receptacles on every block. So, you have a street going this way and a street going this way, and each corner on each corner of the sidewalk has a receptacle. So when you cross the street, you got a receptacle, you cross, you got a receptacle, you cross, you got a receptacle, you cross, you got a receptacle. I got to walk with my juice cup in my hand for quite a few yards before I could find a receptacle. I don't like that.
And I feel your pet peeve, but at the same time, I hear that you're looking for this receptacle to put your trash in, but everybody and his neighbor will put their bag of garbage in, which is also another problem. Within this confines of the city, we do have collection. One of the things that we are trying to ensure is that the collections happen a little bit more often, and not necessarily in a garbage truck, but we're looking to source some smaller trucks so that during the day we can pick up the trash. We have a lot of people, especially businesses, that just put their trash out on the side of the road, yes, because we're going to pick it up. But by the time sometimes the truck gets to pick it up, it's all strewn from a dog or a cat or what have you. Or chicken, what have you. And,
what you got to do with chicken in the city?
Well, actually, I have an email on my desk right now, and I take it out every couple of days about the chickens and the fact that they're crowing. And as city manager, what are you going to do about it? I think from a realistic perspective, we gotta ensure that that's our culture. So if you come in,
you gotta live with the chickens.
You gotta live with the chickens. I mean, hello.
But
the chickens in the park is also a problem because you have them on board and people like to take the pictures, but they're taking the pictures and they walk in the poop, and that's a whole nother story. So the balancing act.
That's a challenge, because I've noticed that a lot of tourists like to see the chickens. They like to take it's a novelty.
Yeah.
And then the kids who have never seen chickens before, kids that come on a cruise, come on vacation with their parents. Who never seen a chicken before, they chase them around and the baby chicks, and so it's, I don't know, maybe it could be an attraction.
I think that's one of the things. I know that my guys that actually clean the North Park, or like, you know, Mrs. Edwards, maybe we should cage them and feed them and, you know, get a visitors to pay $1 to look at them and what have you and what have you. So there are ideas that are coming out of it as we look to it, because it becomes, even though it's a nice site, it becomes a little health hazard too, because you have poop and people walking and poop, and then, you know, it smells for times and what have you. But it's something that we have to look at as to how we're going to manage the balance between the people and the chickens, because sometimes there are a lot more than others. You know, sometimes it's like 1 or 2, and then another time it's like
a whole
bunch of them. Yeah.
Well, getting back to the park, are there plans, designs available for the Queen Elizabeth Park? I know that
there are designs, yes, that you can have like copies of, and the poster board is up right now as to what it should look like.
And it involves a walking path around the park.
And water. There's also a water feature. You know, a lot of family oriented things.
Any entertainment center.
There's an amphitheater in there also. Yeah. So if you get an opportunity to, you should just go and just look at the site. It's gonna be really nice when it's finished. It's gonna be nice.
Now, bike lanes and walking and sidewalks. Well, we have some sidewalks, a significant portion of the city already. From McNamara, even past McNamara.
Yeah, just below Fort Burt.
Just below Fort, right? All the way up to the roundabout.
All the way up to the roundabout at Port Russell.
Right. So you got to go to sidewalks.
And beyond. Yeah.
Yeah,
beyond.
From Boggles up to Kuma. And around. Yeah,
by Bolos. I think it's just before we get to Bolos. Yeah.
So we got sidewalks, at least on
one side
on Waterfront Drive, which is good. You're gonna have bike lanes as well.
That is the intent.
We have space.
That's the problem. So actually, we're talking with Town and Country Planning as to how we can incorporate the bike lane, the sidewalk, and walking, you know, so that we don't have too much conflict. We may not be able to do it everywhere, but I know when you look past Prospect Reef, there's talk about doing it going west that way, for sure, you know.
Okay. Because, you know, we need to have infrastructure for exercise.
Yes, we do.
Because, you know, the statistics are 47% of chronic diseases. We get national health insurance, so we need to promote wellness, so we don't need a doctor as much, so we don't have the escalating health costs. So everything have to be working together in harmony, holistically, so that we could, you know, maintain.
And I'm probably the most fitting example right now, because I've been walking a lot. I think it's showing.
But that's good. We got a call. Thank you for calling. Spotlight, go right ahead, please.
Hello.
Yes.
I need to ask a question.
Go right ahead.
When you have cars parked up on the sidewalk.
Say that again. You have what?
When you have cars on the sidewalk, they people have to pass. They're handicapped or so, right? A handicapped guys that park, you gotta walk in the street wherever it's used to. What's the matter about that like that?
You got the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got listen for the answer.
You listen what I'm saying?
Yes, we understand.
We have cars to be on the sidewalk.
We understand.
Cars to go to be someplace else. Not on the sidewalk, they talk people gotta walk.
We understand the question. We're gonna get a response.
Huh?
We understand the question. We are going to get a response.
No, you're talking about bicycles on the sidewalk with people on the side, right? The current on the sidewalk, don't need to be on the sidewalk to talk people that walk, because it's a man in a wheelchair, right? It's a man in a wheelchair, right? You got to fast, you got to go in the street, and then you get around there, right, that these cars on the sidewalk, that's how you're supposed to walk. That's crazy, isn't it?
Okay, my brother. Let Jet.
The police don't need to do their job. Because I talk to them outside, and I like to listen to talk because it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense, you know what I mean? And I just, the last episode I observed this show, right? Only the man and the woman always talk. So what's the name of the body media?
Okay. Yeah. We've heard the question. Let the city manager respond. So hang up and listen. Okay.
Yeah, my goodness.
All right. Cool.
Well, in response to his question, and that's not something that I have noticed a lot, that a lot of people park on the sidewalks. I actually noticed today that the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force has come out and a little bit more numbers and are actually addressing that particular situation, because it becomes a problem. Yes, we have a challenge with parking, but the sidewalk would not be the place to park. And as he said that, people in wheelchairs, that's one of the other things that we have to be mindful of when it comes to the sidewalks. That we have a lot of differently able challenged people within the confines of the city, and they need to get around. So one of the things that we have on the drawing board is an actual plan of how somebody who's differently able can move through the city with ease. So it's a matter of fixing the sidewalks to make sure the ramps are at the right angles, because we do have some ramps that are off and what have you, so that people who are differently able can have access to the facilities within the confines of the city. So that's something that is actually on the drawing board at this time, so that we can look at which wheelchair accesses we need to fix and make sure that they're in ample, so that if the person is wheeling themselves, they don't have a challenge getting up on the ramp and getting off of the ramp. So yes, we are looking. There are a lot of things that we have to look at, and it's going to take time. I am quite pleased with the success that we've made. Our anniversary was the 21st of August since I've been sitting in this chair, and I think we've done quite a bit. I'm pleased with myself. I know that we can do more, and we will do more. But at the same time, it's a balancing act, because city management cannot work on its own. It works interlocking with every single entity within government.
Okay. Safety in the few remaining minutes that we have, the sidewalk issue leads right into that. Law enforcement is one issue. And safety, of course, comes under law enforcement. We've had some challenges. We had some robberies. We are getting the CTV and so on. I mean, what's happening with that?
Actually, we have two. I think we have two proposals on the table right now as to the CCT cameras and so forth, and how we're going to install them. We actually did a physical walkthrough of Crafts Alive Village, especially to see how those. And we've actually took a walk through with the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force to actually see how the CCTV cameras will work throughout the city of Roatan. So we have a proposal. We have proposals on the table. Actually, it's a situation as to when we will be able to get the finances to move them forward. The Crafts Alive situation is one that we want to move on very, very quickly. But for the future of the Office of the City Manager, one of the things that I envision for the future is that the city becomes so sufficient that we have police for the city. The future that, at the end of the day, that it's not just totally the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force's duty ensure that the environs within the confines of the city are safe for the people that actually have to use the city.
Well, we certainly hope so. We've fallen under the tyranny of the clock, and we felt. I didn't have a clue, so I'm really, really happy. I'm really, really happy.
I'm glad you called because I was saying to Natasha, there's a lot to talk about. Today, I was saying to her, there's a lot to talk about, and we need to come up with a program as to how to talk about these things. But thanks to you, I got that call tonight, and I stepped to the challenge because people need to know, they need to understand. And I'd like to say before we close that, you know, if you have any concerns, comments, please feel free. We're willing to listen.
Is there a place where you can be reached?
I can be reached at 441-8800.
441-8800. That's cool. And don't forget, you know, you have 2 outlets. You got JTV and you got you know, Spotlight, and you have Umoja on ZBVI. So don't be a stranger.
I won't.
And thanks for your help tonight.
You're welcome.
Cool. I want to thank my other guests, Nia Douglas and Katie Ann Johnson of the Interact Club of Road Town. So thank you for watching. Person that called, thank you for calling. Spotlight is rebroadcast at 2:30 on Sunday afternoons. You can also catch up with all the spotlights on jtvlive.net. Tune in next Tuesday right here on JTV. Spotlight will be on the Cancer Society briefly, but the main event will be the discussion on national health insurance. It's a big topic going for the last several weeks. National health insurance, the importance of us having national health insurance, so make sure that you're here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your words of encouragement. Your suggestions and criticisms, continue to email me at jtvspotlight@yahoo.com. I'm Ed Juenka, reminding you that when the spotlight is on, you see the facts. Peace.
Spotlight is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Clarence Thomas Limited, the BVI Tourist Board, and CCT Global Communications.
Calling all CCT Internet customers. Did you know if you have CCT Internet service